Welcome to I tell the Lord to this effort. Very well, then Tuphaken.
I don't know what weapon to use.
Arrivé à Delhi, c'est déjà très chaud et l'objectif c'était de vite quitter la ville pour...
Which is Cirrus's sword.
rejoindre Ellie qui était déjà dans les montagnes. It's going to be like all together 26 parts. So it's really thrilling, adventurous. Système de refroidissement. bad every year. Because of that, the road is little bad every year. Vallée du Nord, une région très reculée de l'Himalaya. Quand même relativement peu de touristes qui, je l'avais découvert l'année passée avec Fred Nicole. Zangerd, on était venu pour, on était dans un bloc trip, vers Manali, tout ça, et on a fait un crochet 12 heures de vol. Dur pour arrêter. God-fearing people. They have a great belief in local deity. Everything, whatever they do, they'll only ask the local deity. Everything. For construction work, any work in the halls, any field works, any damn thing. So they ask the local deity for that. This time of the year, the people are having really very hard time also. All the people, all the family. Right from the morning, sunrise till evening, it becomes dark. They are working hard in the fields. They are preaching in every. After they grow vegetable, and after they will be reaching the apple, then winter will be coming soon.
Ashen One.
Asham, nazisabi. Asham Roy.
Well, you're let I have. But when, but let's we let him. Pretty be careful, though.
Really good, but don't walk out.
Oh shit.
Ashen 1.
That is what. Pretty be careful.
Oh, no. I treat the fire.
are working hard in the field. They appreciate it, they're making every step. I often did. Coming soon, you know. Tomorrow it's going to be a kind of puja, and they will sacrifice, they'll invite lots of people, and then it's kind of a celebration also all together, dancing, drinking, and also a puja kind of.
Faut dire que cette expé, c'était vraiment la recherche un petit peu de modification. Donc on est vraiment parti sans avoir beaucoup d'informations par rapport à la paroi, par rapport à l'endroit, etc., etc. Et donc c'était vraiment se retrouver face à l'inconnu.
Shashla means the zigzag, you know. Zigzag. You know, it's really steep, vertical peak, and unclimbed up till now.
What the fuck?
Où est-ce qu'on va passer? Où est-ce que ça va passer en livre aussi? Le but, en fait, de l'expédition était de trouver un itinéraire faisable en livre.
C'est vrai que c'était assez compliqué parce qu'à partir de 3500 mètres, il n'y avait plus aucun sentier pour rejoindre le pied de la paroi. Et du coup, l'idée c'était de trouver un accès pas trop engagé pour que les porteurs puissent nous accompagner.
Vraiment l'exploration de l'endroit perpétuellement. Donc on est constamment face à l'inconnu, on est constamment en train de trouver une solution pour en fait survivre encore.
slowly creating a collection of Thor's hammers capable of recreating Thor's abilities in the Marvel movies. We've caught lightning with a hammer. We've jump-started a car, which he hasn't done in the movie. We've created one with an electromagnet that only I can pick up. And we even put a giant capacitor in one to deliver huge electroshocks. And in this video, we're gonna attempt to make the heaviest Thor's hammer. Now currently, the heaviest Thor's hammer in existence was made by a YouTuber named Brainfood, and he has a 91-pound hammer that he custom made out of steel and filled with lead. Now for our project, we're gonna do something similar. We're gonna take one of these replica hammers that we have from the armor factory. We're gonna open it up, and we're gonna try and fill it with lead. And hopefully we can get more lead in it so it's heavier than Brainfood's. Now first step is getting some lead, but unfortunately lead's actually kind of hard to come by. Yeah, wanna find me some lead?
Hi, Barry. Fucked up.
Alright, now before you guys call the cops on us for stealing tire weights from unsuspecting vehicles, that was a joke. It would have taken way too long to steal this many tire weights. This isn't even enough. No, what we actually did was we went to a whole bunch of mechanics around town and actually bought used tire weights from them. And this is actually something you can do if you guys happen to need lead. Anyways, now that we've got lead, let's melt it down and fill up the hammer. Alright, this is gonna take a while. I've got a question for you. Have you ever wanted to be a Norse god? I know I have. If you have too, I have a great game to recommend that's awesome after a long day of work. It's called Vikings, War of Clans. The game takes me back to my childhood with good old strategy RPG games, and it's available on mobile with great graphics. Build your empire, develop your own economy, and rule the world by destroying your enemies. And as a special thank you to you guys for supporting the channel, Vikings and I are actually giving away an iPhone X in a random draw at the end of the month. To enter, it's really simple. All you have to do is download the game using my link in the description below and upgrade your palace to level 5. Plus, whoever gets the highest level will win a MacBook Pro. For more information and contest details, check the description below and get a special bonus of 200 gold. So download War Vikings today and let the fun begin. Now, back to the hammer. This is a bit wasteful, but we have way more than we need. Lead zinc? Ew. I don't want to use those ones. Avoid the shiny ones. Go birdie.
I want to get your finger pinched in that.
Yeah, a sec. Let's get a precision mallet. Alright, so it's not centered. We should probably put a giant bevel on that.
Do that.
So far, so good. I feel like having a strap on here is dangerous because someone's going to try picking it up and it's just going to break. Can you carry it with one hand? 75? 70 pounds.
With one hand? I don't think that's possible because I can't curl 80 pounds.
Can you get that above your head in any way?
Yep.
Oh, no, sorry, I didn't get the picture. Hold it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right. We got just about as much lead as we can fit in the hammer, so let's see how much it weighs. Okay, we're looking at about 33 kilograms. That's around 73 pounds. So not quite as heavy as brain foods. And I think part of the reason is because of the way he designed his, he was actually able to get a bit more lead into the hammer than we were. But how could we make Thor's heaviest hammer? What other materials could we use besides lead? And to figure that out, we're gonna have to do some math. Alright, so before we started, the hammer weighed about 8 pounds without any lead, which means we put about 65 pounds of lead in here. So now that we know how much lead we have in the hammer, we can actually use the density of lead to calculate the volume available to us in the hammer. Did you know lead isn't actually the heaviest element that we could use? The first one we thought of was tungsten, which is almost twice as dense as lead. And in fact, if we filled this hammer with tungsten, it would actually weigh about 51.6 kilograms, bringing it in over 110 pounds. So it would actually be the heaviest hammer in existence. Unfortunately, tungsten's really expensive. It would cost over $5,000 just to get that amount of tungsten to make the hammer. But wait, there's an element that's even heavier. It's called osmium, and it's got a density of almost 23 grams per centimeter cubed. In fact, if we were to fill this hammer with osmium, it would weigh over 60 kilograms, which is nearly 150 pounds. The catch? Osmium is worth more money than platinum. That means this hammer would cost over $2.4 million to make the heaviest Thor's hammer. So, it looks like Brain Fu holds the record for the world's heaviest Thor's hammer. But you know what time it is? Time to test this thing out. Time for the final test. enjoyed that video. We had a lot of fun attempting to make Thor's heaviest hammer. Make sure you check out our other videos though, because we've done a whole bunch of Thor's hammers now, and we have this awesome playlist showing off every one that we've done so far. And make sure you're subscribed, because we're going to do an epic compilation featuring all the hammers in one video. Thanks for watching, and I am Thor Odinson, but you might know me as the Strongest Avenger. Hey, did we install the off switch? Let me try this. What? You filming this? Good. Ah! Yeah! Ah! I did it. This video has been sponsored by Blue Apron. Check out my link in the description below, and the first 100 people to sign up will get 3 free meals with their very first Blue Apron order. Pretty sweet deal. As you know, we're building a whole bunch of different Thor's hammers right now to emulate all of Thor's abilities. So far, we've done a capacitor hammer, we've caught lightning with a hammer, we've even jump-started a car with Thor's hammer, and now we're building an electromagnet Thor's hammer that only the worthy can pick up. Now, before you start typing in comments saying how we're just copying sufficiently advanced, we know he's already made one, and a really good one at that. But innovation is all about using ideas in new and different ways. That's literally the definition of innovation. Plus, I had the idea for this years ago. No, really, I had that idea like 5 years ago when I was working at Athena. Anyway, Alan's hammer used a fingerprint scanner to determine if you're worthy enough to pick up Thor's hammer. Ours, well, you can tell me your worthiness in a different way. Plus, ours is so strong, I can even hang off of it. That's because we're using the electromagnets from our Captain America Shield project. We got extras. Anyways, let's get building.
What the heck?
Check out Maker.io to see the complete circuit diagram and learn how to unlock the power of Thor. Big thank you to DigiKey for providing some of the parts used in this build. Let's see what the old cooling box has in store. Oh, man. I think something's missing. Now, it's like me, and you spend all your time making these projects and blowing stuff up. You don't usually have time for grocery shopping or cooking. You end up doing a lot of effort. It's both expensive and not really good for you. But if you subscribe to Blue Apron, you get everything you need to create chef-designed recipes at home. They locally source farm-fresh ingredients, deliver them to your door in a refrigerated box, so they won't go bad if you're not at home. And the best part is, they're perfectly portioned, so that means no more food waste. I know that's a huge problem for me because whenever I do go grocery shopping, I end up buying a ton of food and only eating a bit of it. Plus, if you sign up using my link below, the first 100 people to use that link will get their first 3 meals with their first Blue Apron order for free. I ship to most of the US with meals starting at $10. If you're wondering why it's traders all around the world use Blue Aprons. It's a simple anyway,
This one's quite heavy. Oh, look at that, guys. Oh. Okay.
Wow. About 75 pounds. Wow. But that's also just a replica. Oh, man. Should I pick this one up? So one of these is the real hammer. Sadly, you're worthy. You've already picked one up for. Did you already pick this one up? Which is quite light. Why don't you try and pick that one up? Okay, what's... How did you figure out the key? What? So this is pointless then? Plug it in, see if it works. Well, how did you do it? So, yeah. Yes, I got it. Yeah, basically, I feel like every Avenger ever. Wait, didn't Vision lift the hammer? Yeah, it's not going anywhere. That's it's in there. Why are you having so much trouble? How did you? That's ridiculous. Alright, so what's the trick there, James? What are you talking about? how did it work? I think there's like a special little key or something that you're pressing that I can't see. It has to be there. So, I find it requires a gentle touch. Gentle touch? Yeah, it's still nothing. Alright, you want to see how we did it? So, it would actually take about 240 kilograms of force upwards to break the magnetic field. Really? So there's a chance, like if we took this to the gym, got some guy who can like deadlift 500 pounds, he might be able to do it. But I don't want to do that because I feel like if your body's in tension for 500 pounds and then suddenly it's nothing, something else is going to happen. That's true. So we've got the switch here. And this is also just how we turn it off when we store it. It's off. It's also the charging port, which is very plugged into the wall. If you want to see how it's actually done, just see anything? What do I have that you don't? A ring? Yeah. Oh, is it the ring?
Well, let's see if you can pick up this 80-pound one, James.
So, if you're short between this bar of metal and this part. Oh, that's how. Yeah, I see how it is. That's very cool. But it's all about the ring, huh? Or this magic key. You know. Thanks for dropping by. Yeah, thanks a lot. God of Thunder over here. On this episode of Make It Real, we're going to make Captain America's electromagnet shield. Alright, so originally we were going to make our own electromagnets using a microwave oven transformer like this. And they're really powerful, but we decided to go with a more professional solution and we used a commercially available electromagnet instead. And these guys are strong. At just 12 volts, this will produce about 120 kilograms of lifting force. And we're planning on running at a much higher voltage, which means it'll be even more powerful. Let's start building. Now, we're running these electromagnets at 66 volts each, which means they're actually going to be producing 660 kilograms of lifting force per electromagnet. Now, despite that, we're still not going to be able to attract the shield from the same kind of distances as shown in the Avengers.
You'll never...
Never what? You didn't finish!
Now, the reason that won't work is because magnetic force decreases exponentially over distance, which means the amount of power you need to attract the shield from that kind of distance will be astronomical. You probably need an arc reactor just to power those electromagnets. So even though we have over 1,000 kilograms of lifting force at the magnet, at a few feet away, it drops off to almost nothing. Now, that's just a plastic shield. So we reached out to Machina Props, and they made us a real replica. Take a look. Captain America, you don't just need a shield, you need a jacket too. So Sleek Hides helps out. To learn more about either of these products, there are links in the description. They are awesome. Well, that's how we made it. Subscribe to see the next video and test this thing to its limits.
It off the walls! That was a straight up cap attack!
There's something inside of you that's more powerful than you know. Guts. And Renew Life probiotics can help strengthen digestion and immune health to keep your gut healthy, so you can be the best.
Spider-Man! Spider-Man! Does whatever a spider can.
Ever since we made Captain America's electromagnet shield, we wanted to make a pair of electromagnet gloves that would allow us to climb buildings, just like Spider-Man. Many of the components required for this project were provided to us by DigiKey, who sent us all the parts overnight. At the core of this project, we're using the same electromagnets that we did for Captain America's electromagnet shield. And as you can see, they're more than strong enough to hold me up. In fact, at just 12 volts, one of these electromagnets produces 120 kilograms of lifting force, but we're running them at 72 volts, 6 times the rated voltage. That means they produce 720 kilograms of lifting force. Together, that's over 3,000 pounds. Now, unfortunately, running these at such a high voltage means they heat up really fast, and if you leave them on too long, they'll actually burn out and break. Measure the temperature to make sure we're not overloading them. Now the next step is making the handle. We'd like to use our 3D printer, but we're not too sure if the part will actually be strong enough for me to hang on. So we printed a prototype and we decided to give it a shot. So we want to test this to make sure that the layers don't delaminate when hanging this way. It's super strong this way because the shear strength of the 3D printed part on the horizontal plane is really strong, but in tension it's typically a bit weaker because of delamination. Oh, it's a magnet.
It's probably getting hot right now.
Yeah. Alright, so to test it with a safety factor, I'm going to throw on a 50-pound weight vest and do that same test all over again. But we're going to have to up the voltage of those magnets because I actually managed to break the magnetic field during the last test. You grab me another battery in? 200 pounds. Remember, we're running these magnets at about 6 times the rated voltage, so they do get hot. Luckily, it's going to be done. Alright, that should be cold enough. Let's see if we can break it this time. That's really hard on the arms. Well, it seems like the handles that we made using our TAS-6 3D printer and the Morse extruder were strong enough. We're actually quite impressed. We thought they were going to break. But a lot of people have mentioned that the Morse extruder seems to provide superior layer bonding for your 3D printed part. And I think this is pretty good evidence that it does. Now, you may have noticed this isn't the same handle that we tested. That's because we actually revised the design a little bit to make room for the electronics, which is the next step in this project. Let's go over how it works. While not completely necessary, we added an LCD screen to give the user feedback on the device. As you can see, it displays the current voltage, the temperature of the electromagnet, the elapsed time of how long the electromagnet's been on, and the power level of the electromagnet, which is adjustable. To ensure we don't accidentally turn the electromagnet off, the switch is actually latching, so that means you tap it to turn it on, and then you don't have to hold the switch down in order for the magnet to stay on. Simply press the button again, and it releases the magnet. Alright, so now it's time to make the final version. We've already 3D printed some nice black handles. Now we just have to assemble electronics and we'll be ready to do the final test. For a full schematic and explanation of how everything works, there's a paper on my just link in the description below. X-Men. This is not suspicious at all. What's out of that? So in that test, we were actually slipping down the metal because it was metal on metal. We've added a bit of rubber, and now it should be good to go. So let's go test it. Subscribe and hit that notify button. And if you want to see how to build the handles yourself, click the link in the description to see a complete guide. And don't forget to something.
I've decided to teach myself a new skill. And what that skill consists of is taking liquid and inhaling it directly into my nose. And then from there, like an absolute rhinoceros, I plan on taking that liquid and blowing it directly out of my eye socket. How? Let me look it up and I'll tell you. Now let me drop some science on your ass. When a person cries, LA beasts don't cry. Tears come out of the tear glands underneath the eyelids and drain through the tear ducts and empty out through your nose. And all I plan on doing is reversing that process. That's it. Because the only way that I know how to do things is an absolute boss mode. I decided to become the first man in history to cry home the door leprechaun tears. What? Are in fact non-toxic and only cause slight burning and irritation if it comes in contact with your skin and eyes. I decided to carefully break open 12 glow sticks, making sure not to get any glass into this mixture. And this is what you see right here. Now, based on past experiences of spraying pepper spray directly into my face, I should have no problems jamming these straws directly into my nostrils and blowing neon green glow-in-the-dark fluid directly out of my eye socket. I'm going to instantly regret this. Have a good day! Here we go.
The fuck? Woman?
it's burning my nose. I'm getting shit all over the fucking place. What am I doing? Cut. I'm bleeding. I think I'm bleeding. My nostrils are bleeding. My nose is bleeding. Okay. After sitting here for the past 37.5 seconds, realizing that my throat is burning and that my nose is bleeding from trying to put glow-in-the-dark stick fluid up my nose, I've decided that's a bad idea. So what I am going to do is still demonstrate, before I semi-pass out here, how to blow liquid out of your eye socket like an absolute boss.
welcome back. Today we're taking a look at what happened to the Didact after Halo 4. Now, I know that I said I was going to elaborate more on the idea that I had for Chief's death, but I wanted some more time to work on it. I have quite a lot of ideas for that theory, but I don't want to make a video on it until I've sort of like fully fleshed it out. So in the meantime, I figured I'd make another one of these What Happened To videos. Since you guys seem to really be loving them, I love making them, so kind of seems like a win-win situation. So if you do enjoy, don't forget to leave a like down below and also a comment telling me your thoughts on the Didact as a character, and also if you'd ever want him to return to the games. Let's begin. So, when Chief knocks him off the light bridge on his ship, the Mantle's Approach, at the end of Halo 4, the Didact didn't actually die. Below the bridge was a slip-space fissure, and when the Didact fell into it, he was teleported to Installation 03, Gamma Halo. It's really surprising that having a fuse grenade planted and explode within his undersuit didn't kill him, but then again, he's definitely been through far, far worse in the past.
I will rip apart your casket. I shall crumble your coffin. I will tear you from your shroud.
Spartan Team Black had been sent to Gamma Halo to provide security to a science camp stationed on the ring. Unaware of the recent attack at Ivanov Station, they were trying to re-establish contact with the staff there when they noticed a huge amount of debris leaving slipspace in the sky. One of the pieces of debris landed nearby the team, and they went to investigate, only to find the unconscious body of the Didact. They had no idea who, or what for that matter, it was, but upon inspection, its eyes lit up, and then the Didact woke up and proceeded to massacre the Black Team in what was a pretty brutal fashion. Soon after, the Didact met with 859 Static Carillon, who was the monitor of the Composer's Forge, where the Composers are constructed. Static Carillon had travelled to the ring to investigate a recently opened service portal that led there himself, after the ring's monitor remained completely unresponsive. The Didact asked the monitor to take him to the Forge, where he established a base in an abandoned foreigner city. It was here where he struck a deal with the monitor, bring him a slightly damaged Halo to repair and use against humanity, and in turn, stop creating knives from humans, along with stop bringing them to the Composer's Forge. Reason being, Static Carillon considered these knives abominations. The following day, the Didact was informed of Blue Team's presence at the Composer's Abyss, and that they'd passed through the portal to the Composer's Forge by Static Carillon, and the Didact decided that he would welcome them personally to his world. Of course, when they first met, Blue Team opened fire, and the Didact spawned an army re-installation over the Composer's Forge, but turned on the Didact when he found out that he'd violated his side of the bargain by taking knives there. The Didact headed to the portal to Gamma Halo, taking a Composer from the Forge with him, and Blue Team, now accompanied by Static Carillon, followed. On the Didact confronted Blue Team with intent to finally finish them off. However, Blue Team had a Master Chief. Chief stabbed the Didact directly in the eye with his combat knife, causing the Didact to regret not killing them when he had the chance before. He lifted Chief off the ground in retaliation and crushed his helmet, and then knocked Kelly, Linda, and Fred to the ground in an attempt to save them. One of the people quickly died, and Chief was mere seconds from death, but all of a sudden, Static Carillon fired on the Didact, causing him to drop the Ascension Index, and then teleported him to Gamma Halo's control room. Blue Team returned to their longsword, whilst Chief grabbed the Index and headed to the control room alone, where he confronted the Didact one last time. In the control room, Chief inserted the Index into the block, as if to fire the ring, and the two engaged in some pretty intimate talk, where Chief acknowledged the conventional methods of killing somebody didn't seem to work when it came to the Didact, so he devised what he called a two-step process with Static Carillon to finally kill the Didact. Firstly, Chief would manually deactivate the safety protocols on the ring. Then, the monitor would eject the control room, sending it crashing down to the Composer's Forge. Just as Chief finished telling the Didact his plan, the room ejected as planned, and Chief was teleported out of the room by the monitor and back to Blue Team's longsword just in time, while the Didact was sent plummeting down towards the Composer's Forge. On its way down, the room collided with the remaining Composers, which caused them to fire on the Didact, digitizing him and also storing his essence in a digital form. However, the Didact is not dead. He's composed, but he's not dead. Only technically classify him as contained, and there's almost a 100% chance that sometime in the future he will return, but not necessarily as the enemy. His essence should be stored in the Composer's Abyss, which is pretty ironic when you consider that his essence is stored alongside the essences of the victims of his attack on New Phoenix. That's going to make for some pretty awkward conversation. However, recent evidence from the description of the Didact toy in Halo 5 Forge suggests that he somehow made his way into the domain, which could spell an entire whirlwind of trouble for humanity. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. That's going to do it for today. I really hope you enjoyed the sort of third video in this new series I've started. I really like making these videos, and you guys seem to love them too, so expect quite a few more in the near future, alongside the video discussing Chief's death, and also your suggestions that I picked out a couple videos ago. Also, don't forget to check out the new Facebook page, facebook.com/HiddenXperia, and be sure to join me next time, when I discuss either the Master Chief's death, or take an in-depth look at the history of the Swords of St. Helios. Thanks again for watching, guys. I appreciate you all more than you will ever fathom, and I'll catch you next time. Welcome back. Today we're covering a pretty touchy subject, one that many of us, myself included, really don't want to happen for quite a while, and that is the death of the Master Chief. Now, of course, this is a story element that just has to be executed perfectly. One wrong move, and people are not going to be happy, to say the least. Now, one of the ideas that's been sort of roaming around the community and also around my head for quite a while now is the idea of Chief dying, but not actually dying. So his character is retired, but it's still possible for him to return, and honestly, I do think that eventually 343 will go this way. And it's also the way the idea that I have to talk about today is gonna go. So, the idea that I have links back to a previous video of mine, where I proposed a theory that involved destroying the gateways which essentially connect the domain to reality, to essentially sort of pseudo-defeat Cortana. If you want to hear that theory, it's a really nice little precursor to this theory, so click the link on the screen right now to go and watch it. So, without further ado, bear in mind this is all extremely theoretical and monumentally hypothetical, and let's begin. So, throughout this game's campaign, or at least for sort of like a section of it, could be Halo 6, could be Halo 7, whatever, you travel around the galaxy on the Infinity with a few smaller frigates, playing as Chief. You're also joined by the Swords of St. Helios, who are using the Shadow of Intent, locating and destroying various gateways across the galaxy on foreign worlds. In each system that you get to, you split up, with the Shadow of Intent and Swords of St. Helios going to one planet, Osiris to another, and Blue Team to the final one. On each planet, you fight against created forces, which, bear in mind, will include Covenant forces, and push towards the planet's gateway to destroy it. To keep the gameplay fresh, and to make sure that it doesn't take up too much of the campaign, let's say that you go to two systems, one with 3 planets with gateways, and one with 2 planets. In the first system, all goes as planned. Each squad makes it to their respective gateway, destroys it, and then returns to the ship. You could spice up the gameplay a little bit by giving the player the option of which planet to go to, or maybe even which character to play as. So, for example, you could play as Chief and go to planet A, or you could maybe play as the Arbiter and go to planet B, or Locke to planet C. You get the message. You then go to the second system, and you're forced to go to one specific planet as Chief, with Blue Team and also the Arbiter accompanying you, while Osiris go to the other planet. Osiris get to their gateway and destroy it before you. So you, playing as Chief, are pushing towards the final gateway to finally destroy Cortana and lift the galaxy of this mass oppression that she's put it under. You get to the gateway, and Chief knows that he can't just cut Cortana off. He needs to actually destroy her himself. Given that the foreigner planets will likely have auto-repair systems that just repair any damage done to them automatically, which pretty much renders destroying all the gateways useless in the long term. That, and also the fact that this is Cortana's actual death. Like, this is it. There's no Halo 5 re-emergence, this is it. She's dying here. Chief's closest friend, companion, and voice in his head for a majority of 5 years is dying right here, right now. So, from a realistic and also a narrative point of view, there needs to be some sort of final confrontation between the two before one or the other finally dies. There's just absolutely no way this story arc can end without them meeting eye to eye just this time. Because of this, Chief tells Blue to get rid of her by disconnecting the domain from reality, and therefore can rearm and sort of prepare themselves for her return. At the end of the mission where you reach the gateway, Master Chief enters it, you see Blue Team destroy it, and the screen just fades. Chief is in the domain, alone, and is burning pretty heavily on the inside. It's not destroyed, but it's burning on the inside due to the damage that's been inflicted to it by destroying all of the gateways. Because of this damaged state, pieces of like wall, floor, cover, etc. are all sort of randomly phasing in and out, and the horizon is a really dark red, and is very slowly creeping towards you to show you that the domain's fire and damage is spreading pretty heavily. After wandering around for a bit and maybe encountering a few Prometheans, you finally find Cortana. After an emotional cutscene that, quite honestly, I don't know how to write, Cortana turns on John, trying to incapacitate him, knock him unconscious, pretty much anything to sort of eliminate him without actually killing him. Playing as Chief, you have to actually kill Cortana. Now, I'll leave it up to you guys to decide how exactly you'll do that from a gameplay perspective, but the mission ends with John finally putting Cortana to rest, all while realizing he's trapped in the domain with no way to escape or even contact anything outside of it. The final shot of Chief is just a shot of his legs, and you can see him drop his helmet to the floor, followed by his assault rifle, as he slowly walks away and the screen fades to black. There's then a cutscene that's set a few days later, with Lasky stood on a pedestal giving a speech before tens of thousands of people in front of a bronze monument of the Master Chief. It plays out pretty similarly to Lord Hood's speech at the end of Halo 3, with Lasky essentially just saying that we should never forget the acts of these soldiers, many of whom ventured into the Howling Deep and didn't return, of course with heavy reference to Chief. Blue Team are also there, and after the speech they look visibly upset, even for Spartan 2s. The cutscene finishes with Lasky commenting on how safe the galaxy is now, thanks to all the work of those soldiers, ODSTs, Spartans, and of course Chief, who fought the created. And the screen goes to black, the credits roll, and that's the end of the game. Of course, unless you beat the game on Legendary. If you do, after the credits, the Legendary cutscene begins with the exact same camera angle that we left Chief with, only showing his feet. He walks towards the camera and then up a set of steps that lead towards a sort of like Forerunner structure that really resembles a Parthenon. There's a weird orange aura around him that visibly struggles to move more and more, until he finally slams his fist into the floor and he's on his knees. The orange aura is crazy bright now, and the camera pans up behind Chief. He begins to stand up, and it's evident that his arm has changed, and now very Foreigner-esque, with orange hololight running through it. As the camera rises, it's very clear now that he has a new helmet in place of his Mark 6. The camera zooms in on his fist, and he clenches it. Then it pans out, Chief turns around and faces the camera. The Gaesh that the librarian put into Chief that she unlocked on Requiem synced up with the domain, which takes Chief into part Forerunner, now a true warrior surgeon. The cutscene ends, Chief stood still in his new Forerunner human crossover armor, and the screen goes black. Had a ton of Combat Evolved references, and Halo 5 is pretty much known as the second coming of Halo 2 for a multitude of different reasons, and this idea can provide some pretty heavy references to Halo 3, specifically the mission The Covenant, which is actually a fan favourite. Having a joint UNSC elite task force split up and go to 3 different key locations, all fulfilling their goals simultaneously, would be a really nice little call. Also, having Chief's unlocked Gaesh interact with the domain would also provide a really cool callback to Halo 4. You know that plot point where the librarian accelerated Chief's evolution, and it kind of had no meaning whatsoever in Halo 5? Well, psych, that actually means something now. So, let me know what you guys think of this idea. Please keep in mind that this is just incredibly hypothetical, and I'm going to be honest, when I was writing this idea, my mind kind of got away with itself, and I think you can tell that as the video went on, the idea became even more and more and more elaborate. But if you enjoyed it, then don't forget to leave a like, and also share it around if you enjoyed it enough to do so, and be sure to join me next time when I'm going to discuss my plans for 2017 in a short little update video, something that I've actually never really done before. So thanks again for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you next time.
Wow, well met, Ashen One. How may I be of service?
This is a video by Real Life Lore, sponsored by the Great Courses Plus. It may be easy to believe that anywhere in the world can be reached with a simple plane flight and maybe an Uber with some added walking in between. It's 2017 after all, so surely if you want to go somewhere, you can get there in a reasonable amount of time, right? The truth is, there are still some shockingly difficult and remote places to get to in the world, and there are still some places that nobody in all of human history has ever been to yet. The question is, where's the most difficult place that you can possibly get to in the world, and how can you get there if you stop watching this video now and set off on your journey? Let's start with how far we've come. This is a map from 1914 that details travel times around the world if you started in London. Back then, most of Europe could be reached in under 5 days travel time, while more remote parts of Scandinavia and Russia would take 5 to 10 days. Getting to San Francisco could have taken up to 20 days, Sydney could have taken up to 40 days, and there were parts on every continent except for Europe that would have still taken months to actually get to. Today, however, the travel times are absurdly lower. All of Europe can be reached in under half a day's journey, as well as large parts of North America, Africa, and Asia. The journey to San Francisco that would have taken 20 days 100 years ago now takes only half a day. The journey to Sydney that would have taken 40 days now takes just about 1 day. Much of the world has been opened to rapid transportation thanks to modern air travel, but there are still a few places that haven't kept up with the rest of the world. Take Pitcairn Island, for example, a UK overseas territory in the middle of the Pacific Ocean that is home to a mere 49 people that is hundreds of kilometers away from the nearest other inhabited island. If you want to move here, they'll actually give you a free plot of land to build your house on, and temperatures remain tropical year-round, but there's no airport on the island, so transportation with the outside world is done only by boats, and they rarely visit. So, the best way that I've found to get there from London is as follows. You would first have to get a flight from London to Los Angeles, and then take a connecting flight from there to Tahiti. That journey would take about 24 hours, but then you would need to take a flight from Tahiti to another island named Mangareva, which only happens once every week and would take another 5 hours and 30 minutes. This is the closest airport to Pitcairn, and it's still 531 kilometers away. The only boat that travels to Pitcairn regularly with supplies is located here, but it only leaves once every 3 months to visit. If you are lucky enough and manage to get on the boat, it's another 32 hours of sailing before you finally arrive at Pitcairn. About 3.5 days from London at the bare minimum. That's difficult, but then there's these islands named the Kerguelen Islands, also known by their ominous name of the Desolation Islands. Located in the remote Indian Ocean, they're 3,300 kilometers away from the closest population center in Madagascar. There are around 50 to 100 French scientists on the island at all times, but like Pitcairn, there is no airport, so transportation is done only by ships. They are visited by one supply and transport ship every 3 months that leaves from Reunion Island to Madagascar. So first we would need to arrive on that island somehow, and then get on the 6-day boat journey to the Desolation Islands. It would take a minimum of about 1 full week to get to the island. Greater challenge. Once you are there, the tallest mountain on the island is 850 meters high, and the first top of it was some guy who flew up in a helicopter in 1960. Anybody has ever been there ever since, because it's one of the most remote mountain summits in the world, which means that it's likely one of the most difficult places to get to on Earth. But there are some other mountains which are significantly more difficult to reach than this. Take Mount Sitley, for example, which is the tallest volcano in Antarctica. Antarctica is already difficult enough to get to with no regularly scheduled flights from anywhere in the world, but the volcano is located in the most remote part of Antarctica known as Mary Bird Land, a place so vast and remote that no sovereign country in the world currently claims it. It's basically like being on the moon here, and the volcano is 4,285 meters high. It wasn't even discovered until 1934, and nobody had ever ever climbed to the top of it until 1990. And ever since then, only 2 expeditions have ever successfully made it to the top, most recently in 2010. Mount Sidley, an elusive place that very few people have ever or will ever be to. The summit of Mount Everest on the Nepal-China border is the highest summit on Earth and is obviously very difficult to get to. It's 8,848 meters to the top and has been successfully reached by only around 4,000 people through history, which is fewer people than have ever won a Grammy. But 223 people have died while attempting to climb the mountain, which means that out of everybody who has ever tried climbing to the top, about 1 out of every 1 has died trying. That sounds very dangerous and difficult, of course. Then we move on to another mountain named K2, which is the second tallest mountain in the world, but is far more difficult to climb. Only around 300 people have ever successfully made it to the top, while 77 people have died trying, which means that about 1 in every 5 people who has ever tried getting there has died while trying. Nobody has ever successfully gotten there during the winter, and K2 is nicknamed the Savage Mountain because of its extreme difficulty in climbing. The summit here is a good contender for the most difficult place to get to, but another mountain in the Himalayas named Annapurna is even more dangerous. It's the 10th highest mountain in the world, but has only ever been successfully climbed by 191 people, while 61 other people have died while trying. Which means that about 1 out of every 4 people who has ever tried reaching the summit has died while trying to do so. In terms of your odds for survival getting somewhere, this mountain summit may truly be the most difficult place on Earth for you to get to, but there are still other summits on other mountains that have still never been reached by anybody. This is Gongkar Puensum, the tallest unclimbed mountain in the world at 7,570 meters tall. Nobody in history has ever been at this point right here, and nobody probably will be for a very long time. The mountain is located in Bhutan, and Bhutan has banned any climbing of it for religious reasons. So not only is getting to the top physically challenging, but it's also legally impossible. So what about a mountain that's legally okay to climb that has never been reached? The tallest summit in this category would be Uchu Chahish in Pakistan at 7,453 meters high, an incredibly demanding mountain that's only ever been attempted to be climbed twice in recorded history. If you are looking for the most difficult place on Earth to get to that is legal for you to try, the answer is probably this summit right here, a place that no human has ever set foot on in all of history until maybe you and this video would try so yourself. We as a species have been to both the moon and the deepest part of the ocean, but there are still several dozen mountains around the world whose summits have never yet been reached by anybody, making them possibly the most difficult places to get to on our entire planet. So thank you very much for watching this video. I'd like to give a tremendous amount of thanks to my incredible sponsor, The Great Courses Plus. The Great Courses Plus is a subscription on-demand video learning service where you can subscribe to and watch unlimited top-notch courses that are taught by brilliant Ivy League professors, as well as experts from National Geographic, the Smithsonian, the Culinary Institute of America, and hundreds of other extremely qualified individuals. They offer an
Caution mountain.
Above a land of dragons and myth, the mountain of Gangkar Punsum soars almost 5 miles to the sky. For Western mountaineers, it is the highest peak in the world to remain unclimbed. Flanked by a massive buttress, the way to its summit is guarded by a treacherous ridge corniced by wind-driven snow. Gangkar Punsum promises a test piece as difficult as the Himalayas can provide, and the climax of a dream that began 3 years ago for expedition leader Steve Berry.
It was very exciting for me personally, getting to base camp after the 3 years of intense hard work and struggle getting the money together for the expedition. And it was very ironic that just as we arrived at base camp, the mists started to slowly clear, and it was like the mountain was flirting with us. She was saying, look how beautiful I am, and look how hard it's going to be.
The national team he leads is a forceful one, in which individual prowess has been strengthened by years of shared experience together in the world's mountain ranges. Among them, Jeff Jackson, like most of the expedition's members, gained his first taste of the Himalayas with Steve Berry on the giant Chu. From North America, Jeff won his mountaineering experience the hard way, on the rock and ice pinnacles of Alaska. Jeanette Harrison's fascination with the problems of medicine at high altitude led her first to Colorado, where she studied with the world's leading authorities, and now to the Himalayas as the expedition's doctor. Steve Findlay works with maladjusted children, and the temperament that suits him for this is reflected in the style of his climbing, power exercised with a fine sensitivity. The task they have set themselves is a formidable one. First, they must surmount the pinnacle on the right. Beyond, the 4,000-foot ridge that leads to the summit itself has already defeated 2 previous attempts. At the eastern end of the Himalayan chain that divides India from China, Gangkar Punsum lies in the ancient kingdom of Bhutan. A kingdom almost untouched by the influence of the world outside. It has been inaccessible by road or air for all but the last 2 decades. Its situation is unique. The high, fertile valleys framed and hidden by the mighty Himalaya, the people and their culture have inspired countless dreams of utopia or a perfect way of life, the search for a mythical Shangri-La. The agriculture of Bhutan, like that of its Himalayan neighbors, is shaped by the mountains themselves. But Bhutan, more than anywhere else, has remained aloof from the short-term temptations of so-called development. Archery is the kingdom's national sport, a tradition that dates from the 15th century, when invading Tibetans and Mongols from the north were driven back by Bhutanese warriors on the frozen battlefields of the high border valleys. Now those far-off days are remembered, as Bhutan's 14 monastery districts come together to commemorate the military victories that preserved their religion and culture to the present day. At each end of the field, competing teams score points by hitting their opponent's target. The defending team attempts to stop the metal-tipped arrows finding their marks by invoking the spirits with chants and flags. A winning arrow is not just a celebration, but for thanks to the spirits of the Zongs of Bhutan symbolize the power of religion in dominating and directing the lives of its people. It is here in these monastery fortresses that the Bhutanese architectural tradition finds its highest expression. A tradition that began in the 8th century when Tantric Buddhism was first established in Bhutan by Guru Rinpoche, the second Buddha. The quality of life is measured by values based on that Buddhist tradition which has such a profound effect upon every aspect of its people's existence. In this country where crime is virtually unknown, religion is never far beneath the surface. Outstanding of Bhutan's architectural achievements. According to legend, the Guru Rinpoche flew there from Tibet on the back of a tiger in the year 747, thus giving it the name Tiger's Nest. The cave from which the Guru spread Bhutan's Buddhism is where the original monastery was built. Today it is a site of great religious significance, a place of pilgrimage and meditation. Many festivals are celebrated in Bhutan, where dances are performed by monks and laymen alike. The Dance of the Black Hats is one of the most beautiful of these dances. It commemorates the slaying of the Tibetan king Langdama, persecutor of Buddhism, in the year 842. His assassin was a monk who hid his bow and arrows within the folds of his long sleeves. For the Bhutanese, these festivals are unique occasions to prove their religious fervor. Decked out in their strongest clothes to exchange the latest news. The dance of the Judgment of the Dead shows the characters whom every Bhutanese will meet after his death, and teaches him not to fear them. It shows the importance of good or bad deeds in earthly life, or karma, on which rebirth with a good or bad destiny depends. From the Bhutanese capital of Thimphu, leaves for the mountains. Recently completed as part of an Indian government project, as far as the Bhutan Valley. At this roadhead, the expedition will pick up the supplies they need for the approach march.
3 hours from Thimpu, we came across this huge roadblock with hundreds of tons of clip just onto the road. But it could be 3 more days, and the delays could go on, and nothing would happen, and people would not clear the road quickly enough. I felt an urgent need to get things done. More delays.
Blast the big ones here. When they blast the big one, the other big one is going to come down. So it's going to take some time. We can just, if they can blast it, just cut off this much out here, and we can pass through.
So there's no alternative. We had to get this blasted out of the way. So we might be stuck here for 2 days.
What the fuck, man?
It'll take you 3 hours. Are you not afraid that the rest of the cliff will come onto the road? How many sticks of dynamite will you use? Small one.
In a country where motor vehicles are a novelty, the use of dynamite to keep roads open promises a spectacle worth waiting for. Clay is used to pack the dynamite and intensify the effect of the explosion.
After such a long, hard day, sad, downside, such a to meet with Bhutanese guides and Bashir, our climbing guide. We were struck by how open and friendly they were, always singing, always happy and jolly. We were to take about 20 local Bhutanese people up to the base camp with us, some of them as our kitchen staff to cook for us, and some to drive the yaks and carrying our gear.
Before they leave for the mountains, however, Bhutan presents them with another opportunity to taste the richness of its culture. Lama of the great monastery fortress of Ayakar Zong presides over a 4-day festival of blessing. For those who attend, it is a cleansing experience that improves karma. Their journey through the cycle of and Jeff Jackson.
Walking around, I feel fantastic. Just being able to see all everyone was talking to really start for us. Go catch up on our horses.
Isolation of Bhutan is extreme.
The country itself is so much less development. It's still I find that really intriguing. I mean, it's unexplored as well. Maps into any of the other places I've been before. You don't need to rely on which it's the elements to it which got separated.
What the fuck? Kit! Oh. Check! Damn it! I don't even... Yeah.
Beside the river, a hot spring erupts where the deep valley has cut down to intercept an underground stream, warmed by heat from the Earth's core.
I don't know about you, Harry, but I reckon those last 2 days were too hard. They were too long. They're much longer than anything. Hey, what have been too bad? We're expensive, but they were the hour and a half. It's just on and on and on. Hour and a half after hour and a half. It's just hour and a half.
sure you misled us yesterday.
It provides welcome relief for aching limbs, and the expedition's first break for 5 days. New Zealander Lydia Brady made her mark with Nature's ascents of the great rock climbs of North America and Central Islands. The life of a nation.
To appreciate, especially in the last couple of years where I'm strong enough to climb that mountain on my own, and I'm strong enough to get myself out of situations. That's one of the biggest emotional things that I've
Fuck!
First of all, you're learning and you just think, oh well, you know, after I've done this, it's going to be suddenly realise there's more situations that you can do. The more experience you get, the older you get, and the more you are getting yourself out of those situations. So here you are in a position where you can get in a place in the world, a situation in the world, a moment or a time or a situation of danger that hardly anyone else in the world can ever experience, and you know that you can get yourself out of it.
The fast-flowing rivers of the Himalayan foothills demand respect. A previous Japanese expedition crossing this bridge lost the yak which was carrying all their money. Its body was recovered below the gorge. Of the money, there was no trace. Steve Findlay is one who welcomed the approach march. People have to say Jeanette Harrison.
Good time was a big chance for me because it was my first chance to go on a real big climbing expedition. Most of my climbing was primarily medical research expeditions to study high altitude and acclimatization. The climbing was just sort of an added extra, but this one was going to be just climbing and a big mountain, a mountain that had never been climbed before.
September the 24th, base camp is established on the Col at the head of the Mangdachu Valley, and the storm clouds of an approaching front move in. unusual snowfall hampers their return to Boomtang. The next day, it becomes apparent that the immediate practical problem is food. The Bhutanese government has supplied rations sufficient for only 4 days. If the staff are to eat, they have no alternative. They must slaughter one of the yaks.
Has established his base camp at 5,000 people. At the moment, the climbers are shooting medicaments and not
Way lies across the moraine, a shifting, treacherous mass of glacial rubble and ice. Harry Macaulay.
Steve and I were the first couple to get up to advanced base camp and erect some stuff. Our fun zone was amazingly fit and agile across the moraine. Steve and I took a bit of time getting used to it.
Established their advanced base camp at 17,500 feet.
We didn't want to go the Jap route because the lower half of it
Jap Gully real early.
It's very steep.
Oh, look at these tomorrow. That's a cool thing to decide.
I think Lydia and Sal should go up really and pick up the gear that we've done to the top of the ramp and then take off up to Camp 1 and get near Camp 1 and stuff.
The line taken by the Japanese is at constant risk of avalanche. Steve Berry proposes an alternative route to Camp 1. If they can find a way up the face to the left, they can rejoin the ridge above the ice cliff. It's a steeper line, but it must be safer.
Steve Berry, 1st of October. Today will be the first attempt at our climb towards Camp 1. Steve and Lydia seem to be heading up this climb. Very strong.
At last, the real climbing begins. For Steve Findlay, the mind is freed to focus at a deeper level.
The lure of the big mountains, the view from something like 22,000 feet is indescribable. It gives you a sense of smallness. The fragility of human life really comes to the fore on a big mountain. Dying for me isn't too frightening. I'm not really scared for myself, but scared for my family more. Lydia's a very strong lady. She's intensely passionate about climbing. That's all she wants to do, really. I think Lydia's going to be one of the strong climbers on the mountain.
I've decided that I'm a climber. And one of the reasons why I want to go up on this mountain is because it makes you feel special and unusual. Even mellow little mountains where you don't even need to have a rope or something like that, they can make you feel really special because there aren't people around.
A short traverse leads to the foot of the ramp.
The ramp gradually steepens up into vertical slope, fairly substantial slope. On top of that,
It was wild. I like to sit in a spot and look around myself in these mountains that I can see around me. But in this tiny little circle that's called Bhutan on the map of the world, it's neat because not too many people meet.
it's great being up there. It was a crystal clear day. You could see Jabal Hari in the distance. And I think we could see Kanchenjunga. It must be hundreds of miles away.
Already they are ahead of schedule. The day's work takes them to a high point above advanced base camp.
They're right it's really nasty.
Cleanse the bastard's curse.
Yeah, we've got up to probably more.
wearing long johns and you're always wearing a smelly dark blue top. So that I find I really value being able to come home and put some nice clothes on, especially dresses, and do things like learn how to sew and cook. I mean, I get really domestic. It's really soothing. I suppose it's creating a situation where you're comfortable, you're warm, and you're not in dire stress. You just feel special. You just feel tough and exciting.
Beyond the ice cliffs, Steve, Findlay and Lydia are confronted by a band of steep rock. Here they find the ropes fixed by the Austrians, but unwilling to touch them, Steve climbs along the cliff line to reach the ridge. Above, although the climbing is straightforward, a new problem makes itself felt. Gusting at 60 and 70 miles an hour make further upward progress extremely difficult. As the team extends itself on the mountain, other hazards arise. Jeanette Harrison explains.
The higher the altitude, the more chance it is that people are going to die. And not just the symptoms of acute mountain sickness, the headache, nausea and so on, but more serious complications, pulmonary edema, more fluid on the lungs.
Just wasn't it?
People become very short of breath, develop a serious cough, may cough up blood, and have to descend quickly if you're going to prevent fatal complications of cell fluid, which is fluid around the brain. Lena's coma.
Oh, Hildebrand.
If nothing is done, if they don't descend in
Heavens, thank you. As
At this sort of altitude, it's very difficult to move around. You get tired very quickly. And so all of us were taking turns going up and down to Camp 1 during this period, carrying loads to acclimatise properly.
To coordinate these movements effectively, good communication is essential.
I'm surprised you haven't been blown off the side of the hill, actually. It looks as though there's a whole load of bad weather moving in, and it's going to be snowing again before too long. Over.
Well, Jeff and I are going to press on for Camp 2 tomorrow, and just hope the weather holds. Can you see the others on the hill?
Be safe.
Well, I can see somebody coming down the snow cone, and I can see somebody on the Japanese gully. I can also see Jeanette. Yeah, I can see Jeanette going up the ridge towards you. And confirm Steve Findlay and Lydia are returning to ABC for a rest. I'll bring up some more food tomorrow. Over.
It's 3 days since Steve and Lydia left Advanced Base Camp to make their big push. Rest is now vital to build the fitness they will need higher on the mountain.
Well, how'd it go?
Looks very well done, Pig.
Yeah, we were going to come down yesterday, but Steve Marks arrived on the boat. Steve Marks was going to leave, get well rest and hang out, get acclimatised and do some more work tomorrow, but today I
Farewell, Admiral.
What did you go yesterday?
just out of
Hard to find there. Jeff came and bring a load up yesterday. In whiteout conditions, it went straight past the tent. Left a load up above us. We couldn't see.
He was wandering around the white and he lost his fix throat 3 times and he fell off the edge of the mountain and all sorts of epic things.
What's the matter here?
Well, we're going to have a couple of days rest and then we'll go up again and whatever needs to be done we'll do. Get right on.
By then, people should have Camp 2 fixed up. Dinosaur Ridge. And maybe we can be back going for it in a few days' time.
From Camp 1, the route lies over the snow dome. Beyond, the Dinosaur Ridge resembles the armor-plated back of a prehistoric reptile. From Advanced Base Camp, it looks straightforward. At Camp 1, Jeff Jackson and Jeanette Harrison take up the story.
Morning of the 15th. I'm really blowing a gale outside right now. Jeanette's all kitted out. I don't know, she seems more anxious than the rest of us.
went down to pick up Harry had left.
Just here again. Still one. Today's 17th. Chad and I just got back. Completely haggard. Horrible. It was initially pretty nice getting up there. It seemed like we were going to be able to do it, no problem. As soon as we hit the beginning of the ridge, going to Camp 2, very cold, constant winds. We just decided that we weren't going to make it to Camp 2 in this kind of weather, so we were going to turn back. Immediately when we turned back, it must have been 60 mile an hour constant winds.
Met Harrison from Camp 1. Now we're back to cozy in our tent, hoping we'll be able to fix out the roads all the way to Camp 2 tomorrow. It's not feeling at all well. I think it's probably rather started on the dialogue, so hopefully that will do the trick.
I'm completely wasted right now, and I think Jeanette is as well. There's a good chance that we're going to have a rest day tomorrow. And Mark's feeling a lot better. Him and Steve Berry might be able to go the rest of the week.
The high winds of winter have arrived, a month before they are expected. A savage storm forces Steve Berry to order the climbers off the mountain. At Advanced Base Camp, it is very frustrating for the climbers who have so nearly secured Camp 2. There is only a brief period between the monsoon and the winter when the mountain can be climbed. The thought that winter could come early and close that opportunity is a depressing one. They are aware, too, that the Yap train bringing vital supplies to base camp could be delayed by snow blocking the passes below. In total isolation, there is nothing to do but play a waiting game.
Lieutenant McCall here. Located at Advanced Base Camp. It's the 7th of October, about 3:30 p.m. It's the second day of the bit pissed off, obviously. We'd like to have gone on with the climbing. There's 9 people now at Advanced Base Camp. We're getting a bit worried because we've done a check on the food supply, and if we all stay up here, we're just going to eat away at our mountain supplies. So we decided to make a tactical withdrawal from the mountain until conditions get better on the mountain. This is Harry Corley from BBC News. Advanced Base Camp, Cairns.
On October the 12th, the sky clears, though the snow bloom from the summit shows the wind speed is increasing. Winter has arrived. Back on the mountain, Camp 2 is at last established. The way to the summit is open. But for how long? The push is on. The task to rebuild a pyramid of supplies and climbers on the way. The plan is to place as many climbers as high on the mountain as possible. Then they will go for the summit Alpine style, carrying all their needs for survival on their backs. At Camp 2, they are poised for the final assault when Harry Macaulay relays the bad news from Timber.
Hello, Camp 2. This is Advanced Base Camp. Are you receiving me? Over.
Hello, Harry. Very jet lag and clear. It's pretty calm up here tonight. What's the news on supplies, over?
The Yanks are unable to get through due to the heavy snows lower down, and there will be no Yanks in the future.
The radio operator, base camp crew.
We have to return, or will return to Bumtang in 4 to 5 days, with or without us. Over.
But
Timbu can't just tell us to pull out because of it. If the Bhutanese want to leave, then it's up to them to let them go. From up here, looks like we've got a good chance of going for the top in a few days, H. We've got enough food up here to keep us going. All we need is 5 days. Just 5 days, H. 5 days of good weather.
Base camp rations are down to rice and 1 pot of jam. Logic
I'll probably stay here tomorrow and the next day waiting for some people to come up. Now, whether the weather's too bad down there, I don't know. Yeah, all we need to do is climb about 10 more feet and then we can make a go for the sun. It's hard to get closer to the holidays. But some of things have to come together for it to happen. And the more and more I get more discouraged, and I'm thinking that it's going to come about. It's over.
Stephen Berry, 24th of October. We've had to give up the climb. The weather has finally cheated us. We've done everything right over the last 3 years. Every piece of the jigsaw seemed to have fitted together perfectly over that time, but the last few pieces of that jigsaw have just been blown away in the wind. We'll have to wait now for the Indian Army helicopters to evacuate us from base camp.
I'll ask you whether it's a waste of time if you don't get up it, but it's not true at all. So we didn't conquer our mountain, but we lived with her for quite a while, and she gave us some experiences that none of us are likely to forget very quickly. The only battle is not really against the mountain, but within ourselves. To push ourselves and to see how far we can push our own limits. The mountain's really just passive. It's a vehicle to see what we, as human beings, can achieve.
By the end of October, supplies are totally exhausted, and with their retreat through the valleys cut off, they have no alternative but to return to base camp and await their evacuation by the Indian Army.
Well, oh yeah, it.
use the Guardians to police planets and enforce their rule, giving them total control of the galaxy. The two Ancilla use Genesis as their base of operations, and also as a place to store the Guardians, which they will awaken across the galaxy. Exuber and Witness, being the protector of Genesis, obviously opposed this plan, but was shunted aside by Warden, and Cortana revoked most of her administrative privileges. The blue team arrived on Genesis on a Guardian at Cortana's request. However, when they arrived, they realized her plan and quickly opposed. Shortly after, Fire Team Osiris arrived at Genesis. The same plan on one Guardian, located blue team. She provided them with one of the foot Area 20 storm Genesis on board the Guardian, Team 09.
ration was very condescended to me by Black Dog Bob. Bob, thank you so much for sending this to me along with many other international rations. If you've been actually and below the left side of the package, this looks like it's going to be a 24-hour ration. Looks like it's separated into 3 meals. Breakfast, lunch. And here's the back of it. All of the card. And on here in some ink, you can see that it's written what the contents are. I can't read this text, so I'm using my Google Translate app here to try to see what I can translate. And from what I can gather, this side of the packaging is Russian, and this side is Kazakh. The Google Translate app doesn't have this camera function to translate Kazakh. So I'm going to try using it from Russian. For example, it does say some of the ingredients: meat, porridge, higher grade tea. Anyways, so I'll try using that one actually to use that. So these are perforated, so let's go ahead and separate these.
No! You should have
Not able
waited.
to translate. Okay.
I
Another
see.
packet of crackers. One of the packets of sugar ended up all over the place. And more jam. Sugar, tea, and sugar. 2 small cans. Sugar. These ones. I really like them. All of them have a little bit of tea, sugar, biscuits, and jam. And then we got cans for your Oh, this one says something about zucchini. Caviar for zucchini. Great. This one. Pate. Some kind of pate. And this is kind of pot of meat. This is the pot of meat. Okay, I'm going to heat up the vegetable ones. So as our entree, tea, love. It smells like black tea.
That what you do?
Not herbal tea at all. Flavors. And while that's steeping, let's try the biscuits. Now these are the same biscuits in all the 3 meals. Looks like this is August 8th, 2016. Whoa. And there are the biscuits. These look kind of similar to biscuits that I had in my Russian ration. They look like cookies, but I think they can be either savory or sweet. So let's just try one by itself. Look at that nose. These are not super hard. These are actually a lot softer. I was expecting them to be rock hard, but they're not. They're actually pretty flaky. And in terms of flavor, they're very similar to a saltine or an oyster cracker. A little denser, not as light, slightly salted. And very plain and dry. So let's have a sip of our tea. And since they gave me sugar, I'll add some sugar as well. That's good. I don't usually have my tea sweetened, so it seems extra special with a little bit of sugar. And that is just a smooth cup of black tea. That's great. Let's dip the biscuit in there and see how that changes it. Very dissolvable. You only need to dip that in there for a second. Then it turns into kind of a doughy paste. So let's try a little bit of jam with that. And by the looks of this packaging, it looks like it's apple jam. If you saw my Russian recipe, that I make a mistake of thinking that this was some kind of beverage. And I mixed the apple jam with hot water, and it made a delicious cidery drink. Interesting. I thought it was going to be apple because it's a little bit tangy too, a little bit tart. And I think it's a mixture of fruits. What kind of fruits, I'm not sure. And it's not really sweet. I know that I say that a lot, but I feel like sugar is often overused, but nice, especially with tea. I think it really enhances it. Alright, let's go grab it. Ta-da! Here's our pot of cans. So this is our first one. This was the lunch. These two rubbed off. It's fine. I remember that the dented one was the advantage, of course, of not having to add water to any kind of heavy stuff is that you don't have to carry water with you. Of course, it's heavy. These are also heavier because these are in metal cans as opposed to plastic sachets. These cans are pretty compact though, so relatively speaking, maybe it's not such a big deal. And because the way this is packaged, you can just make one meal at a time. And that actually this one's pretty streamlined. It's pretty simple. You have your entrees in a can, crackers, tea, and jam. I like that. Let's do breakfast first. This is the vegetable caviar. Carefully open this. It's very hot. So this is the puree. like soup. It's a little bit thicker than a soup. It smells like potato soup. It smells like vegetable soup. It tastes like a vegetable soup that has some tomato in it. And it's very, very metallic tasting. I think maybe there's some acidity from some tomato in there that has leached some of the metallic flavors from the can in there. But yeah, maybe some carrot in there. It's a little bit sweet. It's okay. Let's have it with the cracker. It's definitely better with a cracker. It neutralizes some of those tinny flavors and it makes it feel more substantial. Yeah, that one's not my favorite. So let's try the other tin that breakfast came with, and this, I believe, is going to be some kind of pate. Yep, and indeed, it looks like some kind of meat. This is very smart. Our cracker. Here we go. That's pretty good. Very smooth consistency, rich, creamy, very livery. I think this might be a liver pate. I love liver, adore it. But if you don't, you probably won't like this. It has very strong livery flavor, which is kind of irony, slightly metallic, meaty, and gamey. I love it, but hopefully it's strong. Not me. Okay, so
something which we consider special, and the totem pole was an obvious one. It's been good to spend the time up in the Grampians and the Mount Arapiles in the last couple of weeks because we're hardening ourselves up in a way, or toughening ourselves up in a way that should and will come in handy on the totem pole.
Well, very then. Farewell, maiden.
Ah. Great letter. Ashen Whitmore.
Heavens, she was already dead. Then shall we bet? Be safe, champion. Ugebot i answer. At if.